Oh, there he is.
Vision,
Yes.
wife and I are looking forward to this evening.
I love him. I love him so much.
You weren't supposed to see how we did that trick.
Nice.
That was my grandmother's piano.
Oh man, it's the best line. Best line.
That was so good.
Poor guy.
A beekeeper.
Oh man, give us some insight. Who is it? Okay, he has the sword logo again. Whoa.
They're gonna cut to black.
No.
Oh.
Welcome back to Strictly Casual. My name is Ryder, and this is part 1 of our Wandavision series, giving a reaction and breakdown of our thoughts of the first 2 episodes so far. We're going to be continuing this series for the entire season, so if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Do you want to
First off, initial thoughts, I guess. Initial thoughts?
It was interesting. I don't know. I don't fully understand what's going on, but I mean, like, initially, I think it's cool. I think what they set out to do with their old black and white TV show, like, feel, they nailed it. They had the laugh tracks. They had, like, those corny jokes that were, like, kind of funny.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
it was like they pulled that off big time. It felt like it was just like not even Wanda or Vision. I felt like it was just like it was them. It was their act, them as actors, but they were like different people,
Yeah.
just doing their
They
thing.
really ran in with these shows. Even though this is, of course, a facade and it's a mystery, they made sure that this episode, that's the show. That's an episode of like a whole series. It
That's
felt
it.
like, you know what I mean? Man, initial thought, this is so bonkers. I love this because I was watching and I felt happy because it wasn't like a gritty story. Let's become superheroes and fight a villain. It's like this is completely different, you know. And this is what I needed. I needed that a breath of fresh air, you know. I'm really happy. I'm really excited on where they're taking these characters. You know what I mean? I'm enticed.
I'm definitely excited to like figure out what the bigger story is here.
I know, right?
I will say though, the highlight moment for me was not realizing that that actor played Vision's boss.
Oh yeah.
And when he walked into the room, I was like, all right, I'm in.
Yeah.
He plays a character named Cy Abelman in
Okay.
another movie, and I
Right.
absolutely love him. He
Okay,
just
nice.
plays every role. He's the
Yeah.
same character in everything, but he's perfect. He does it so good.
Awesome. I think there's a lot of mystery with the world that they're in because when you see him choking, it's like you hear like a buzzing sound as if someone's doing that to him because he keeps like
Sure.
provoking them and making her realize. And so, you know, going to the end of this episode with Sword, that organization, since they're the ones watching, it could
How
be
do you
their-
know it's Sword?
Well, there was a little logo on their thing, and
Okay,
it's a sword,
okay.
and that's in the comics. It's like
Got
an
it.
organization, and to see that organization have a screen that they're watching, it's like, okay, did they create this world, or are they just like monitoring something that they're trying to help out? You know what I mean?
If you were to watch this episode of this show and the main characters were not Wanda or Vision, would it have been interesting to you to watch?
I mean, well, this era really is not interesting to me. You know what I mean? Like I've seen older shows, and it's not my really cup of tea. I think because of the atmosphere and because it's these guys, it's like, oh, they're magical. You know, they're magical, and he's a robot, and he's, you know, super intelligent. He's, you know, it's all these things. It's like, oh, this means something, you know. But I think
I hope so. I hope so.
I hope it's like there's a reason why we're going through the eras of TV. Like, what is it? Just because of the show, like exterior wise, the show Disney WandaVision, or is it because no, we put you in these eras of the 50s, 60s, and 70s for a reason? You know what I mean? Like,
I hope so.
that
I
would be
really
cool.
there's a good
Hope there's a
Yeah.
payoff.
Theory wise, I have no theories. I'm just kind of
Okay.
open for
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
You know, I'm on this boat. I'm on the river. Just
Yeah.
wherever it takes me, bro. All right, let's do it.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing is the actress that plays their neighbor.
Oh yeah. Catherine Hahn.
I usually can't stand her in most of the stuff.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
thought she was great in her role in
Yeah,
this.
she's
I liked
perfect
it. I
for
liked
this.
a
It
lot.
seems like
She fit
so
very well.
out of the box. Yeah. Theories for me, I think because I hear so many theories, I'm always like, oh, this means something. This means something. Like with Stark, I think I just remembered Stark.
Oh yeah.
They're really tapping into her origin story. I
The
wanna see where they
toaster,
take
baby.
that.
The arc,
Yeah,
the arc reactor
Yeah.
toaster. Closing thoughts. I'm excited. Yeah, I'm just excited to see what's next. I don't really have like a big expectation or anything of anything happening. I'm just, again, it's Marvel. I'm gonna watch it. I'm here for the ride. We'll see what happens.
Nice.
See what happens. How about
Yeah.
you?
I'm all the way in. Those of you know, I'm a huge Marvel fan, so this is what I needed to help me get through the next year. I'm so excited. You can go ahead and get started. Initial thoughts for this episode. What'd you think?
Initial thoughts, it was a lot more funny than I expected it to be. As a whole, right? From the first episode and the second episode, just a lot more funny. I'm really interested in a lot of these themes regarding color. I'm a little curious as to what it represents and to what exactly is causing the return to color for Wanda. Why is it only red at first, right? Red is the predominant color. I mean, I guess there's yellow on the helicopter too, but it's mainly red. We see red helicopter and the red the blood from what's her face. I'm curious those underlying motivations are between that character and as well as the neighbor.
Initial thoughts, I'm gonna say I had based off the first episode, my theory was like, ooh, since that organization Sword is watching her, maybe they're the ones doing all this, they're the ones, you know, pulling the strings behind the camera. But after watching this episode, it really seems like now Wanda's the one doing this to herself, and they're trying to like figure out like, Wanda, what's going on? Like, we're trying to help, and maybe they're trying to like infiltrate this world, and everything that goes into play gets sucked into that world. They're like, okay, let's just send a helicopter in there. Instantly goes in, boom, it becomes a little toy, and it's like, no, we lost them. Like, dang it, we can't even enter it because you just become part of the world. You know, you forget. So it's interesting to see who's with Sword and who's something else of her creation, maybe, you know?
Right, and I think it's interesting because, you know, there was that moment where she said no and she just rejects like the whole beekeeper thing, and then she like by her own will she goes back. So it's interesting to see if this is all a part of it. And when the world goes back into color, it's all kind of stylized with Wanda's magic, with the little red sparkles. So
for sure,
I'm interested to see how much of this is Wanda's own creation, as well as how much of this, or if any of it, is, I mean, I guess there is some outside source. With people trying to contact her.
Last we saw her was in Endgame. She was there all PTSD. Maybe she's like, no, make me forget. I'm going into reality. I'm going to live with Vision and live out my world with TV. Maybe we see in the end where she was in Sokovia and she used to see all the shows. Maybe that would be pretty crazy. That's the connection. Like, whoa, she remembers this as a kid, you know? You know, the Sokovia Accords are still in play. And they're probably like, hey, Wanda, I know you saved the world again and you killed Thanos, but you're still a nuclear weapon and we want to put you under control. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they still think that about her. I really want to figure out who's who, you know, if anything, because I think it's kind of easy. It's either one of the two ways to deduct what's going on in the world, but it's going to be fun to figure out, oh, so these people are with Sword, these people are from Wanda, or these people are maybe somebody else at play, you know, that's like manipulating her. You know?
I'm thinking it might be some sort of simulation that uses Wanda's own power to kind of foster or power it. So in some way, Sword is using Wanda's power in order to keep Wanda in this space, in order to observe her. Curious to see the role of other people in that world, seeing the role of like people like Geraldine and people like Agnes, if they're real people or if they're part of the simulation, right? Or maybe they're actors and actresses. Another
cool theory I saw was that I just kind of put it together, and I think this is probably right. The commercial could potentially be her parent, because if they keep talking about Stark and Strucker now, and they're kind of getting back to the roots of who those people are, it could be like those two are her parents, and every commercial is gonna be more and more. Remember what happened in Sokovia? You know, I wouldn't be surprised if those two people are their parents. And I'm like, wow, that was a good theory.
It seems like they're climaxing fast, or building to a climax faster than I initially anticipated. So I'm wondering, I hope they use maybe the next 2 episodes fleshing out some of that more, those more central themes to kind of what they're going towards. And then maybe spend the last, I feel like it'd be hard to ramp up those other themes like that are, you know, or not by other themes, I mean the hints at what is really going on and these stuff. I feel like my worry is it'll get drawn too far out and it'll be like, oh well, it's just this again. It's not another hint, another hint, another hint. It's like, how many hints do we have to get before we really, because I feel like we're so close in this episode already, you know, to breaking that barrier, or at least like we're starting to kind of see that barrier and what its boundaries are. So I'm like really curious to see how fast it takes them to start to break that barrier, whatever that is.
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the new eras, man. They're really mastering each era. It seems they got every detail down, and the acting, man, the acting is so on point. It seems so really campy. Like
Mm-hmm.
the way Elizabeth Olsen seems to be almost acting bad in a way, or acting purposefully that way, is like, wow, that's on point. So I'm
It's
definitely
very on brand for those like
Yeah.
type of like
Yeah.
old shows.
I'm looking forward to seeing more modern age shows that I'm more familiar with, because of course I know these shows, but I've never seen them that much. So when it gets to the 80s, 90s, 2000s, it's like, oh, I know what they're doing. That's Modern Family, or whatever show. Like that's gonna be super cool. So I'm in. I'm all in.
I think I am too. I was very skeptical of the show
Yeah.
going into it, but it's got me.
I'm glad to hear it. Yeah,
It's good.
I'm glad to hear it. Vincent was saying the same thing. He was like, I'm in. I'm ready. And I was like, yes.
It's a fun time.
A breath of fresh air too. Like
It is.
this
It's
what we
very
needed.
refreshing. Thank you guys so much for watching this breakdown of WandaVision. We're so excited for the rest of the series and where it's going. If you're interested in our other content, we have tons more for you guys. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, and hit that notification bell if you're watching this on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll catch you next week.